things that are immediately apparent about the first album here that you've done on your new label. And one is that there's a fast side and a slow side, which you've never really done before. Why did you separate the two?
Well, I separated the two because there were 5 fast tracks and 5 slow tracks, and I thought it would be nice to create perhaps 2 moods on either side, which is something that I did at the outset of the album. Every song was chosen with that goal in mind.
Another thing which is immediately apparent is the fact that you've recorded with Tom Dowd, one of the great soul producers, and with some of the famous actual soul musicians. How did this come about?
Well, being a lover of Otis Redding and knowing that the MGs had recorded with Otis Redding and Tom Dowd had produced Otis Redding, that was the immediate choice. I went for the Muscle Shoals sound and I went for the Memphis sound. But they don't sound like the Memphis sound, you know. I think I've made every musician on the album play my way, which I respect them for, I really do. They really have played what I wanted them to play.
They've done it in a fashion which sometimes is a little bit different from your established style. Are you very satisfied with the results?
Oh, I'm over the moon about it. I really am. I think I was getting into a bit of a rut with what I was doing, you know, using the same musicians over and over again. All due respects to them, they're some of the best in Britain, you know, but I think it was time for a change.
Where does this put you in relation to the Faces with recording with their albums?
I really don't know. There's nothing I can say. I mean, it's just as far as I'm concerned, it's another solo album for me. I really don't know what the band's going to do. It's up to them to tell me what to do, perhaps. It's never been the other way around. I've never told them what to do.
If you did go on a tour of the States to promote this album, would you use the band or would you use some of the musicians who are with you on this album?
Well, we're going to start on a tour on the 15th of August, and that's a 2.5-month tour. So we are doing a tour with I'm doing a tour with the Faces. But I can tell you that every musician that played on that album is available to play with me on live appearances, which is marvellous. Oh, John, you still there? You haven't mentioned.
Well, I want to go down the track listing here, and the first song I understand you're going to use is a single in America, Three-Time Loser.
Are you American?
Yeah.
Yes, nice to talk to you.
But you've got to change the lyrics.
Yeah, Three-Time Loser is the venereal disease song, which is, I mean, why shouldn't I write about venereal disease? I mean, it hasn't happened to everybody, thank God, but it's definitely there and alongside us. I've got to change some of the lyrics for America, and that will be the single.
I noticed that it's co-written by Steve Cropper.
Yeah, Steve and I put that one together. I did the lyrics and the melody. Steve gave me the chords.
Was this written in the studio or in a hotel?
That was a hotel. Yeah, we did that at the hotel. No, they've got everything wrong. That's my song. Steve Cropper didn't write that. That's my song. Steve Cropper wrote this one. This Stone Cold Sober, and this is Steve and me. Oh dear, panic. Actually, listeners, there's a panic now. I've just realised that Stone Cold Sober I wrote with Steve Cropper, not Three-Time Loser. Could you turn off the machine, because I'm going to have to rush out the room.
End of Panic, back in the room, and on to All Right for an Hour, which is credited to Jesse Ed Davis as well as yourself.
Yeah, same thing. I did the lyrics and the melody. Jess came out with some of the chords. This is a reggae thing. The lyrics speak for themselves. It's about perhaps getting married and finding that it didn't work. That it was all right for an hour, all right for a day, but it wasn't all right for the weekend. So there's not much more I can say about that. My first attempt at anything to do with reggae. I'm very pleased with it. Hello, John, you still there?
Third track on side one is called It's All in the Name of Rock and Roll, and this one you've done all by yourself.
Now, you're not nervous, are you?
No?
I wouldn't like you to be nervous. Okay, It's All in the Name of Rock and Roll It's terrible to sort of dissect and analyse tunes and try and tell you what they're about. This is more or less about a band that's starting out from absolutely nothing, like most bands have done, I'm sure, and finding they've ended up with nothing, like a lot of bands do. In between time, the FBI sort of get involved and lots of things happen at Holiday Inns and hotels and things. I suppose it's more or less about myself and the band. And before, he's Drifted Away, which I actually thought was written by Dobie Gray, but you say Mentor Williams, I suppose you're right. This we've also given a slight reggae feel. It was done down in Muscle Shoals. And that speaks for itself. I think perhaps we could have done this a little bit better if I'd have paid a bit more time to it. Because I've listened to the album so much since I finished it. I'm so knocked out with it. Anyway.
It is quite a different arrangement from Dobie Gray.
We've made it more rock and roll than he ever made it. Which I don't know is a good thing or a bad thing, but the song definitely needs to be heard by a lot more people than just that heard the Dobie Gray ones, I think, especially in Great Britain. Right, John, you're all right. You're still there. I'm still on the air with you.
You close side one with the song which was co-written by Steve Cropper. This one's called Stone Cold Sober, and this does have quite a rocking feel to it.
Oh, this one I'm really pleased with. This was the last one we recorded. And where was this done? Yeah, this was done down in Muscle Shoals, with the Muscle Shoals rhythm section. I suppose this, if any song on the album sums me up, it must be Stone Cold but Sober again. I won't go into the lyrics, but I'm very, very proud of the lyrics on this one. That's the end of that side.
Now we turn to the second side of the album, which is the slower side. And curiously enough, yesterday somebody asked me if it was true that on this album you had a song written by Danny Whitten, so obviously there's some interest in him. Where did you pick this one up?
Well, let me tell you, I met Danny Whitten a long time ago, and I was 6 years ago, I was with the Jeff Beck group, and I was knocked out because he had the same hairstyle as me. But unfortunately, he's no longer with us. That's got nothing to do with why I recorded the song. I just think it's probably the most beautiful thing he's written and Crazy Horse have ever recorded. And I just wanted to try and better it, you know, give it my treatment. A beautiful song, not much more we can say about that.
It's Not the Spotlight is written by Barry Goldberg and Jerry Goffin. Was that on Barry Goldberg's album?
Yeah, which was sadly neglected by everybody. Still, you can't keep up with everything. Another song that I've found and I've had under my belt for a long time. I'm very pleased with that. Actually, I must give somebody some credit. That was given to me by somebody that worked at Phonogram Records. Thank you, boys. Are we still on the air or what?
You've done a different type of treatment of This Old Heart of Mine, the old Isley Brothers song. And I heard rumors that you were considering that for a single. Is that correct?
You're not nervous, are you?
No.
You sure? Yeah, always me and my most favourite Isley Brothers number. I just used the Al Green rhythm section on this one. It's something I've always wanted to play with, the Al Green rhythm section. That's it. That's about all I can say for that one. I'd like to say, actually, for the first time ever, nearly all these vocals I did live. You know, because I'd had the lyrics written and everything, and I was all ready to go. Not that anybody's interested in that. It's an accomplishment for me.
And I Still Love You, 'Cause of You, is your song, one of the three on the album that you've written by yourself.
Yeah, this is now called Still Love You. It's not anything else. Yeah, this is, I suppose this is me back into my mandolin wind feel, as near as I'm ever going to get anyway. It's a personal song, and the less said about that particular track, the better. We are sailing.
The last song on the album and the single, I understand. And
Yeah.
the one you picked up from the Sutherlands.
Well, probably, I must give credit to the Sutherland Brothers because I've always admired them. I think yet another band that needs recognition desperately because it's so sad to see them neglected. There's a lot of people on their side. I think they need a little bit of production to put their singles together. I'd love to have seen them sing this single or arrange the single the way I've done it, you know. But this is the single, and I love them. I think they're one of the best bands that Britain's got at the moment.
So many people have said to me that they think this could become a big football song.
Oh, with that side, I did it with that in mind. I mean, that's got to be sung from all the terraces, all next winter. And I don't mind if the lyrics are changed to Sailing, Give Us a Goal, or Why Are We So Good, or whatever you want to sing. But as long as it becomes a national anthem every football ground in the world, or in Britain rather, I'll be very pleased. John, you still out there? You're still there, man. I'm very upset you didn't come to see me in Dublin. Very, very upset indeed.
You're upset. I have to mind the store. Rod Stewart's new album, Atlantic Crossing. We heard Three-Time Loser, All Right for an Hour, It's All in the Name of Rock and Roll, Drift Away, Stone Cold Sober, and on side 2, I Don't Want to Talk About It, It's Not the Spotlight, This Old Heart of Mine, I Still Love You, and Sailing. The entire shebang is to be found on Warner Brothers Records later this month.